When you walk into a bar or grab a fizzy drink at the store, you'll often see labels like tonic water and soda water. They look almost the same, clear, bubbly, refreshing, but they're not as interchangeable as they might seem. In fact, each one has its own story, its own uses, and even its own flavor quirks. So today, we're going to break down the key differences between tonic water versus soda water. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly when to reach for one over the other and why these fizzy mixers became staples in the first place. Let's get into it right here on History of Simple Things. Let's be honest, we've all been there. You're at a party, someone asks for a gin and tonic, and someone else wonders if soda water would work instead. Or maybe you've seen recipes calling for one and not the other, and you're left wondering, aren't they basically just carbonated water? That's the thing. While tonic water and soda water might look nearly identical in a glass, they're actually very different in taste, history, and purpose. One is a neutral, all-purpose mixer, while the other brings bitterness and even a medicinal backstory. So let's dive into each one separately before we compare them side by side. Soda water, sometimes called sparkling water, club soda, or seltzer, starts off as regular water that's been infused with carbon dioxide gas under pressure. This gives it that crisp fizz that so many people find refreshing. Unlike natural sparkling mineral waters, which come from springs and carry minerals naturally, soda water is man-made. Companies add carbon dioxide artificially, and sometimes they also add small amounts of minerals like sodium bicarbonate or potassium sulfate to balance the taste and give it a clean, sharp flavor. That's why soda water tastes light, refreshing, and almost neutral. It's basically water, but with bubbles. Because of this neutrality, soda water has become a go-to mixer for cocktails. It doesn't overpower the flavor of spirits, instead, it lifts and lengthens them. A splash of soda water in whiskey, for example, brightens the drink without masking its taste. Soda water is also often enjoyed on its own. People like it as a refreshing, calorie-free alternative to sugary sodas. Add a slice of lemon or lime, and you've got a simple, hydrating beverage. Now, tonic water might look the same in a glass, clear and fizzy, but the similarities pretty much end there. Tonic water has a distinctive bitter flavor, and that's because of one special ingredient, quinine. Quinine is a compound extracted from the bark of the cinchona tree, which grows in South America. Historically, quinine was used as a treatment for malaria. British colonists in India during the 19th century began mixing quinine with sugar and carbonated water to make the bitter medicine more palatable. Over time, this concoction evolved into what we now know as tonic water. Modern tonic water still contains quinine, though the amounts are much smaller and purely for flavor. To balance the bitterness, manufacturers usually add sugar or sweeteners. So while soda water tastes almost like nothing, tonic water has a very noticeable flavor profile: bitter, slightly sweet, and distinctly aromatic. This is exactly why tonic water is paired with gin. The bitterness of the quinine plays beautifully with the botanicals in gin, creating a balanced drink that's been loved for over a century. Without tonic, the gin and tonic simply wouldn't exist. Another big difference between soda water and tonic water lies in their nutritional content. Soda water is essentially just water and carbonation, sometimes with trace minerals. It has no calories, no sugar, and no caffeine. For people who want the refreshing fizz of soda without the sugar or artificial flavors, soda water is the perfect option. Tonic water, however, usually contains sugar or sweeteners to offset the bitterness of quinine. A standard glass of tonic water can have as much sugar as a soft drink, depending on the brand. This is important to keep in mind if you're watching your sugar intake. Quinine itself, in the small amounts found in tonic water, is generally safe. But historically, it was used as a medicine, and large doses can cause side effects. Nowadays, regulations keep quinine levels low enough that it's only a flavoring agent, not a treatment for anything. So, from a health perspective, soda water is the lighter, more neutral choice, while tonic water is more of a treat, best enjoyed in moderation. Here's where the real difference comes into play: how they're used in drinks. Soda water is incredibly versatile. Bartenders use it to lighten up cocktails, add fizz to punches, or simply serve with spirits like whiskey or vodka. It works well in a Tom Collins, a spritz, or even as a simple highball with scotch. Beyond cocktails, soda water is also used in mocktails, fruit punches, or even to refresh flat juices. Tonic water, on the other hand, is far more specialized. Its bitterness pairs perfectly with botanicals, which is why gin and tonic remains its iconic use. But tonic also works well with other spirits, like vodka tonic or tequila tonic. However, because of its strong flavor, you wouldn't use tonic water as a simple substitute for soda water. It would completely change the drink. Think of it this way: soda water is the background dancer, always supportive, but never stealing the spotlight. Tonic water is the lead performer, demanding attention and shaping the whole show. So now the big question: which one should you pick? The answer depends on what you're after. So next time you're handed a glass, you'll know exactly what's inside, and whether you prefer the quiet fizz of soda water or the punchy bitterness of tonic, you'll be able to appreciate the role each one plays in our drinking culture. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our other bingeable channels. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.